Get weather anytime by calling 824-6101 or online at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com. Currently, it's 65 degrees.
WTIM.
You're listening to WTIM, your information station. Time now for your expanded local news. I'm Reed Kamai. The Coffee Fire Department alerts motorists traveling between Christian and Montgomery counties to plan for delays beginning today. Illinois Route 185 will be closed from just east of Graham Correctional Center to Coffeen for approximately 6 weeks as road construction gets underway. Drivers traveling through the area will need to use alternate routes while the work is completed. Officials are asking motorists using Coffeen Road as a detour to use extra caution. Unlike Route 185, Coffeen Road is narrower and may require drivers to slow down and be more aware of oncoming traffic. Drivers are also reminded to use extra care at rural intersections where tall corn and other crops can reduce visibility and make it more difficult to see approaching vehicles. Reducing speed, watching carefully in all directions, and allowing extra travel time can help prevent crashes during the construction period. The Route 185 closure is expected to remain in place for about 6 weeks, weather permitting. Motorists are encouraged to plan ahead, follow posted detour signs, and use caution to help keep themselves and others safe while construction is underway. For more information, reach out to the Coffee Fire Protection District by calling 217-534-2410. The Springfield-Sangamon County Regional Planning Commission, on behalf of Sangamon County and in partnership with the City of Springfield and the Village of Grandview, has launched a county-wide brownfields assessment program backed by a $1.5 million grant from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. The funding will be used to identify, assess, and develop plans for the cleanup and future reuse of brownfield sites across Sangamon County. Brownfields are properties where redevelopment may be complicated by the presence or potential presence of environmental contamination. The grant will fund environmental assessments, the creation of a countywide inventory of brownfield sites, community outreach efforts, and planning for future redevelopment projects. Officials say the goal is to support new housing, commercial development, green space, and other projects that improve public health and economic growth. The program will initially focus on 3 priority areas: the Browning Road and Veterans Parkway corridor in unincorporated Sangamon County, the 10th Street and Rail corridor in Springfield, and the North Grand Avenue East corridor in Grandview. Additional properties could be added as the inventory grows and funding allows. Community input will play a major role throughout the project, with residents and local organizations invited to participate in public engagement efforts and help shape future redevelopment plans. The EPA grant runs from October 1st of this year through September 30th of 2030. For more information, contact the Springfield-Sangamon County Regional Planning Commissions. For questions or to seek more information, contact Lisa Peterson at lisa.peterson@sangamonil.gov or call 217-535-3110. The Taylorville Community Credit Union has wrapped up its 12th annual Freedom Tree Community Food Drive, raising $3,200 in cash donations to help local food pantries. The fundraiser was held across the credit union's 4 locations, with donations of cash, canned food, boxed food, and personal hygiene items collected to support families in need. In Taylorville, all donations will benefit the Taylorville Food Pantry. TCCU President Will Perkins said cash donations provide an especially valuable resource because food pantries can stretch every dollar much further when purchasing food through regional food banks. Perkins also added that it's been a struggle for everyone in the community right now with increasing costs for food and essential household items. This food drive was to help those in need get their necessities.
It was, this year, it's a little bit of a struggle at times, just because, a lot of people in the community are struggling. And, that's something that, it's to be expected. And that's one of the reasons for the food drive is to help, those that are in need. And so, but we still had a really good turnout from the community. We still turn in, we have over, I think it was about $3,200 in monetary donations between donations from the credit union and then our members, as well as several hundred pounds of food items. So it was still good to see, but yeah, it's always can be a struggle sometimes, especially during some of those down economic times.
Perkins also said that their whole motive was to give back to the community. According to Perkins, each monetary donation allows food pantries to buy several pounds of food, helping maximize the impact of every contribution and allowing organizations to serve more local residents.
Whether it's our scholarship program, it's promoting local businesses, it's the Freedom Tree Food Drive, a number of things that we do. It's about giving back to the community. I mean, TCCU is a community credit union, so that's what our focus is on. And, every dollar that we can raise for the food pantry, they can turn around and purchase items at the food bank, and the bang for the buck is a lot higher for the food pantry on those monetary donations, and they can turn that into a lot more food items, and which then increases the amount of people that they're able to help in our local community.
Perkins also said community support for the Freedom Tree Food Drive continues to grow each year. He credited the generosity of members and area residents for making the annual campaign a success, adding that while TCCU is proud to sponsor the mid-year food drive, it would not be possible without the continued support of the communities it serves. Despite the pounds of food donated being slightly less this year, the monetary donations have increased compared to prior years, according to Perkins.
It's something that's I believe that this was our 12th year or so of doing the food drive. And, some years it can be better than others. But this year, was, we'd always like to see it grow a little bit, from year to year. I think our monetary donations were up a little bit. The amount of actual items that were donated, the poundage and that I think was down just a little bit from prior years. But it's great to see the community support. And, like we do this in all 4 of our locations in Taylorville, Pana, Hillsborough, and Litchfield. So it's good to see people giving back to their local communities.
The Freedom Tree Food Drive has become an annual effort by TCCU to help stock local food pantries during the summer months, when donations often decline, but the need for assistance remains steady. Information on TCCU can be found online at tccu.org. Taylorville Community Credit Union has branches in Taylorville, Pana, Hillsborough, and Litchfield. The Christian County Prevention Coalition wants community members to know of the host of recovery resources with which they are partnered. Celebrate Recovery, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, and Safe Passage each have their own defined target audience. Nick Banning, a member of the coalition, says AA and NA meet most days of the week in Taylorville.
We kind of just send people, steer them towards some of the resources we have in the community. So, we got AA meetings here in town. We got NA meetings here in town. NA meets at 8:30 to 9:30 every morning except Sundays, and 6 to 7 p.m. every night. And then AA, their schedule's a little bit different. They do Mondays at 7:30 in the evening, Wednesdays at 7, Thursdays at 7:30, Fridays at 7:30, and Saturday at 7:30. And that is at the First Presbyterian Church at 116 East Franklin.
Yeah, so for AA, that was 5 days of the week you mentioned. Is that correct?
Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And in NA, they try to have something every day of the week.
Celebrate Recovery meets Tuesdays at Davis Memorial Church, also in Taylorville.
And we have a meal for everybody. That starts at 5:30, and then 6:30 we have a large group, and 7:30 we have a small group, and that's anybody's welcome. With CR, the thing about CR is that it's not just for substance abuse issues. It's for anybody that has a problem, a hurt, a habit, a hang up, right? And that could be food issues. It could be codependency issues. It could be traumas, death of a loved one. It doesn't necessarily have to be about substance abuse. It's for everybody. If you're not perfect, we like to say, if you're not perfect, you're welcome.
Banning adds that the CCPC looks to understand the needs of the community when refining the work they do.
We kind of focus on, seeing what needs are for the community, right? And we're kind of based around mental health, substance abuse conditions, seeing where we can help with that. Also, we got this back to school event coming up, recovery event later. We try to do things, put on events, stuff like that. We also fund some of the rents for the recovery houses here in town. So, we try to do a little bit of everything, I guess you could say.
The Christian County Prevention Coalition meets once a month at the Taylorville Public Library, and the public is invited.
We gather at the library from 12 to 1. When is it? When did you say it's the third Thursday
of every month?
Third Thursday of every month. So that date can differ from month to month, but our next one is going to be August 13th. When we plan our events, we meet a little bit early, and that's usually anywhere from 11 or 11:30, and then our regular meeting is from 12 to 1. And we just kind of want to invite anybody in the community. We want you to be a part of it, and any organizations, businesses that would like to get involved, we'd love to have you. Come check it out, come see what we do. We're trying to get this thing growing because it's going to help the community.
The probation office is involved, the law enforcement's involved.
More information on the Christian County Prevention Coalition is available at cc-pc.org. Nick Banning appeared as a guest on the WTIM Morning Show. A ribbon cutting took place on Saturday at Sidney Lynn's Little Bookshop and Vinyl located on the Taylorville Square. The ribbon cutting took place at 10 and was to commemorate the shop as a member of the Greater Taylorville Chamber of Commerce. Following the ribbon cutting event, the shop celebrated 5 years of operation with a full day of fun. From 9 to 6, the shop hosted an anniversary celebration that featured live music, free swag, huge sales on products, gift certificates, and even a spin the wheel contest with prizes. At 10 in the morning, a country-style acoustic guitarist Brady Joe Patton took the spotlight for the first musical performance of the day. The band Either Or performed at 12:30. Wrapping up the performance portion of the event was Unchained, a band out of Rochester. 20% off on new vinyl records, and any used vinyl under $100 was 30% off, with anything over $100 being 20% off as well. The bookstore also had $2 select hardback books and $1.50 standard size paperback books. A photo from the ribbon cutting can be seen in our full story online on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com. Now to obituaries, which can be found at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com. 89-year-old Elizabeth Leah Erna Brolin of Morrisonville died July 28th, which was last Tuesday. Burial will be at Morrisonville Cemetery. Cremation rights have been accorded, and all ceremonies will be private. Those arrangements are being handled by a Sally Funeral Home in Morrisonville. 90-year-old Lois Joanne Engeling of Taylorville died last Thursday. A private mass will take place at St. Mary's Catholic Church in Taylorville. Burial will be at Oak Hill Cemetery. Arrangements are being handled by McClure Funeral Home and Cremation Services in Taylorville. 84-year-old Florence Dolly Pauline Smith of Taylorville died July 25th. And a celebration of life took place yesterday. Cremation rights have been accorded. Arrangements are being handled by Sutton Memorial Home in Taylorville. 77-year-old Robert Bob Leroy Durbin of Taylorville died July 18th. A graveside memorial will take place today at 2 at Oak Hill Cemetery in Taylorville. Cremation rights have been accorded. Arrangements are being handled by McClure Funeral Home and Cremation Services in Taylorville. 85-year-old Judith Ann Johnson of Taylorville died on Saturday. A graveside service will take place tomorrow at 11 at Old Stonington Cemetery. Arrangements are being handled by McClure Funeral Home and Cremation Services in Taylorville. 76-year-old Karen Sue Willer of Taylorville died on Thursday. Visitation is tomorrow from 10:30 till noon at Trinity Lutheran Church in Taylorville. The funeral service will immediately follow. Interment will be at Anderson Cemetery on next Wednesday, August 12th. Cremation rights have been accorded. Arrangements are being handled by McClure Funeral Home and Cremation Services in Taylorville. And 8-year-old Judith Judy Lee Harold DeWerf of Nokomis died on Saturday. Visitation is Thursday from 10 till noon at Steele Dawson Funeral Home in Nokomis. The funeral service will immediately follow. Burial will be at St. Paul's Cemetery. Arrangements are being handled by Steele Dawson Funeral Home in Nokomis. Get news anytime from your computer or mobile device at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
This is early morning weather report for Tuesday from meteorologist Paul Otto for listeners on the